Hey everyone, welcome to the PlusCast. Today I have Rueby Wood here from Disney's new film Better Nate Than Ever.
Hello, everybody.
Hey Ruby, I know you guys are not used to me. You're probably missing Taylor Farrow, our normal PlusCast host, but I'm Nathaniel and I'm the founder and president of Broadway Plus, and I insisted on hosting this episode because I got to see this awesome movie on Tuesday night at the red carpet Hollywood premiere, and I got to see the movie and Taylor didn't, so I called dibs on hosting this podcast.
As you should.
uh, and not only that, but Ruby, I have to tell you, I am the crazy guy that was fangirling over you at 1 a.m. in the lobby of the Thompson Hotel.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I remember that. I was like, I've kind of seen this person. I don't really know who you are, but nice to meet you.
Well, I looked all cute at the premiere, and then I got back to the hotel. I was exhausted. It was like 4 a.m. New York time. I ran down to the lobby to grab something in my shorts and t-shirt, and I was like, I don't know a lot of kids, but I know those kids.
Yeah, Aria, it was so funny because Aria had just gotten to the hotel, and I she hadn't gotten to change yet, but I was in like a white sweater and shorts, and yeah, so it was great. It was great.
Well, you couldn't have been nicer. Thank you for indulging me, and so lucky that we got to meet before meeting again today on our Broadway Plus cast here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So for the uninitiated, tell us a little bit about Better Nate Than Ever. What is this? Who is this? Where? And what is your role in the movie?
Well, I'm Rueby Wood, as you said. I play Nate in Better Nate Than Ever. And it is a movie about a kid who runs away with his best friend to audition for a Broadway show and chase his dreams and find who he is. And it's really just such a charming, down-to-earth story about finding who you are.
It is the most beautiful, magical, joy-inducing movie, and that's what we're all about here at Broadway Plus.
So
I actually went by Nate as a kid. I always wanted to be working on Broadway.
That's incredible.
I grew up a bit rurally, and so it's not about me.
Yeah.
But it's actually but it's actually about it was written by Tim Federle, who's a friend of ours here at Broadway Plus. Actually,
He's
two
incredible.
good friends of mine. Yes, I'm so lucky you got to work with Tim. Two good friends of mine from college actually write for him on High School Musical, the
Wow.
musical, the series.
That's so amazing. I love him dearly. He's just the best person to work with.
And what did he tell you as you were getting ready to film, and as you were filming, about like his personal connection with the story and how he came to write the story Better Nate Than Ever?
Well, it was definitely, he gave me some really good advice. But some of the best advice he gave me is because I'm also like very similar to Nate. I currently, I'm in my house in the middle of nowhere in upstate New York, and I love Broadway. I love theater, and I was really lucky to be able to follow my dream. And yeah, so I like, just he told me to just come on to set every day and be myself. And him and Joshua Bassett, who plays my brother, they were like, if you show up onto set every day, no matter how you woke up feeling, no matter what, if you walk onto set and you bring that bubbly, like infectious joy, then that kind of translates into everybody else on set, and it's just an amazing time. And it was an amazing time. I had the most fun ever.
Well, it is no mystery why they chose you to play Nate. You just exude the greatest energy, the most warmth and enthusiasm, and it really was just such a treat to watch you throughout the entire film take us on this journey that so many people can identify with, of loving Broadway and loving New York and wanting to be a part of Broadway and the performing community. And I just thought you captured that energy and that excitement really, really beautifully. And I thank you for working as hard as you did. It must have been really hard to balance school and having a real grown-up movie star job and all the other things. What
Yeah,
was that like?
truly. Well, so school was definitely it was definitely interesting because I've been homeschooled my entire life. So it was definitely new, but also when I was on tour with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it was the same kind of situation. So I was kind of used to it. But me and Aria had a tutor that we would get on Zoom with when we would have school. And we'd have a 20-minute break when the scene was turning around, and we'd go off and we'd do school. So when we were on break, we were actually doing school. So we never, I mean, like we had breaks when like we had gotten finished with school for the day, but it was definitely a lot. We were definitely working quite a bit, but it was worth it because it was so much fun. And our tutor was just amazing. And that really helps if you have like a good person being like teaching you, so that it's not miserable, and it definitely wasn't.
Wow, I cannot imagine my one break having to go do school. It reminds me, about 10 years ago, I worked on the national tour of Billy Elliot,
Yeah,
which has 15 children in it. I
so
think
many
we
kids.
had, yeah, we had like, and we had 5 Billies. It was the start of the
Wow.
tour. We had 5 Billies, and then I think maybe 11 or 12 little girls.
Oh my gosh,
And it
that's
was the same situation. It was like, oh, you're not on stage, go to school.
yeah, no, it was that sounds intense. Like even when I was on tour, because all the other kids that weren't Charlie were played by adults. So the only kids in our show were Charlie, and there were three of us that
I
played
forgot
Charlie.
that about Charlie, that they did it that way.
Yeah. And it's kind of like it's kind of to make Charlie just seem more innocent. It definitely works. But
Mm.
how it would work is there would be one of us would be performing, and then another kid would be on standby backstage just in case anything happened. And then another kid would be like have a night off. And then the kid who would perform would have a night off. The kid who had a night off would be standby, and then the standby would perform. So it was kind of an ongoing circle, but it worked out so that when you were like standby, that you could just, because you were sitting around backstage doing nothing, you could just do all your school then. So it was definitely like more balanced out.
Wow, thank you for explaining that. That is like a perfect Broadway plus. This is how Broadway works magic
Yes.
moment. That, thank you. That's a lot of what we do here.
Thank you.
And one of the reasons I love the movie so much was that it's about casting, and it's kind of
Yeah.
about backstage on Broadway. Can you
Yeah.
t- can you tell us how about the casting process? Actually, I'd love to hear about the casting process for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which
Yeah.
must have been something like 5, 6 years ago for you now.
Yeah.
And how
Well,
does
so
that compare to the process as it's portrayed in the film?
yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely some bits that are different, but there's a lot that's the same as well. So like for Charlie, I went to New York City, and I auditioned. I did my audition. But I like, unlike in the movie when there's like a whole bunch of kids like in the same room auditioning, like one kid went in at a time and did the song and did the scene and whatever else they wanted us to do. And then I got a call, then I got a couple callbacks, and then they told me I could go home. And then like about a week later, they called me and said I got the part. And that was a little different even from like from the casting process of the when I got cast in the movie, because I was doing callbacks for a month when I auditioned for the movie. There was so many callbacks, and then they finally told me I got the part while I was on Zoom, and that was just a like a magical moment. But in the movie, when Nate goes to audition, he auditions, then he gets a callback, then a second callback, which is pretty standard, but like it's so much fun because it's like everything that happens on Broadway, but the Broadway version of it, if that makes sense. Like it's everything that happens just with a little more zhuzh.
The drama was a bit heightened by our friends Brooks Ashmanskis and Christina Alabato, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I am obsessed with all of them. They were so hilarious on set.
Yeah, we work with Christina a lot here at Broadway Plus. She's very popular, having toured as Gretchen in the Mean Girls musical.
Yes.
What was it like working with all the different Broadway talent? Not to mention some original Broadway cast members of Wicked. What was it like getting to meet people like that and work with them?
It was like truly incredible, and not just for me being like a huge Broadway fan, but for like the Broadway community, because like everyone who watches the movie is gonna love it, and everyone who knows Broadway is going to love it just a little bit more because they know all of those extra, like
I couldn't
all of the
agree with you
people and all
more.
of the, yeah, and all the references. And it was just amazing because I got to meet all of these people who've done like things that I love. And especially working with Norbert Leo Butz and Michelle Federer playing my parents was just so mind blowing because I'm a huge Wicked fan, and so is Nate, which is pretty ironic. And it was just it was just mind blowing. It was so cool.
My favorite joke in the whole movie, I won't give it away, but Norbert has a great
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking
moment.
about. And it's so good. So anyone who's listening to this, go watch the movie, because then you'll know what we're talking about.
Starting April 1st on Disney Plus is where the movie will be found for many years to come. And I'm so excited to be recommending it and sharing the joy of the movie and just, helping people know about it. And
Yeah.
we're really
Yeah.
excited. A lot of what we do here at Broadway Plus is we connect people all around the world who love theater with Broadway performers who do coaching. So I'm curious a bit about how you were coached and how you trained and how you developed. You have incredible raw talent and charisma,
Thank you.
but anyone who works on Broadway knows that it takes a lot more than that. It takes training and discipline and technique. So I'm curious about how you honed your craft, especially starting at such a young age, and
Yeah.
what training was like to get you ready to star in a tour and then a movie.
Yeah. So when I was 6, I was cast in my first community theater production, which was ironically Willy Wonka and the I say that every time. I say Willy Wonka and the Charlie Factory, which is incorrect. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And so that was, and I was cast as Charlie. Like some miracle happened when they saw 6-year-old me and were like, yep, no, this is the one. This is the one we want. So I was like hopping around the stage. I've got to go and take it. And after that, I did a bunch of shows with that community theater, and like they're amazing people, and they got me started. They like sparked my love for theater, and from that I kind of just worked my way up, and I learned through experience. I never so I learned through experience. So I did all of those shows. Then I did some regional stuff in Syracuse, and then I got cast in the tour, and I just kind of learned and took things from every show that I was in, and just moved it on to the next show, so that by the time I had done enough shows, I was just so experienced and I knew so much. But I was on tour for a year and a half. And then once tour ended and COVID started a week after tour ended. So it was I went from like going around touring, doing all of this stuff, and then we got home and then there was nothing. So like there was no adjusting, and that was hard. But when one of the things that we did is I took a Zoom acting class in the midst of COVID when no auditions were coming in, and there was just nothing happening and I couldn't see anyone. So I made a lot of good friends on that Zoom class. But then actually during that Zoom class, this is a fun story. So at the beginning, at the beginning of the class, we all went around and said one thing we were thankful for or one thing we were hopeful for. And I started auditioning for Nate while I was on the class. So every week my thing would be, well, one thing that happened this week that I'm really excited about is I got a call back. And every week I would come back and I would be like, I got another call back, you guys. And then finally the day came when I had gotten the part and I got onto the class, and I was like, I got the part, and everyone was just so happy for me. And I learned a lot on that class. It was really amazing.
That is an awesome story. And what was it like that moment? How did you find out that you had been cast in Better Nate Than Ever?
Well, so Tim emailed
The
like
filmmaker. Yeah.
yes, Tim Federle, the filmmaker and writer and director, emailed like my agent or my mom or something. So basically it just looked like there was going to be another callback. And that's what everyone thought, including all of the casting team that was on the Zoom. They did not
Really?
know that he was going to give me the part at that moment. So I got on the Zoom and he starts off by talking about how it was down to me and one other kid, and how he knows, since he's been in this business for so long, he knows how hard it is when you don't get a part you want, and how he just wanted to prepare me just in case, because they were still making the decision. And then he finished all of that. He had this long conversation about how hard it is when you don't get a part. And he finished that by saying, but it's not going to be hard for you because we cast you as Nate. And I lost it. I was deceased. It was like my jaw hit the floor and I was like, oh my God. And he has it all on video because he was recording the Zoom. So Disney has that somewhere. And I think because
Tricky.
yes, Tim loves to make moments of things. He loves a good moment.
And was there like a screen test? I know that's something that we hear
Yeah.
thrown around a lot. Like what is the screen test if you did one of those?
Yeah, so I did do a screen test, and it was basically where they got me in some different makeup looks. They styled my hair in some different ways. Like we went to this like little set that just had like different lights on it and stuff. It was the first day of that I had been in front of the camera. They put me in different costumes and they just had me like walk around in front of the camera. They had me do different things. They had me like say some, oh goodness, I bumped the mic. They had me say some lines. They had me and Aria stand together just so they could know what we looked like on screen and what lighting looked good on screen and what makeup and costumes looked good on screen, so that they could go into actually filming and kind of have a leg up to make it just easier for it to go smoother.
Right. Literally to a test of how you look on screen in different situations and looks.
Yeah.
And tell us about Aria. How did you first meet and what was it like working with her?
Oh my gosh. So
this is Ariana Brooks, Ruby's,
yes.
Sorry, allow me to explain for our listeners. I'm talking about Ariana Brooks, Ruby's amazing co-star who plays his best friend in Better Nate Than Ever.
Yeah, she is one of my favorite humans on this earth. She is so incredible. The first time we met was during one of my callbacks. I had a test read with some kids, and she was the well, so what that means is basically I was on Zoom with me, and there was another person that they were considering for Aria, and for Aria's character, and we just read the scenes together just so that they could figure out like what chemistry worked best. And I did a test with one person, and that one person was Aria, and we like right off the bat we had great chemistry, and we at that moment we kind of knew that this was going to be the one, and that this was going to be the matchup. And then when we met on set, we were like instant best friends. We were in the same hotel. We hung out all the time, and we keep in touch constantly. And we're just so similar. And she's just absolutely amazing to work with.
I remember when I saw you in the hotel the other night, I was like, oh, they are real friends. I can tell.
Yeah.
It was really neat to see that.
Besties.
I mean, it must have been quite an experience to film an entire movie with so much swirling around you, and to have almost every scene together. And
yeah, it definitely was wild, because like I'm on screen for 90% of the movie. Like it's all like me and Aria are in the movie together so much. And it's the same in Charlie. I was on stage in every scene. So like there was a lot of work that had to go into it, but overall it was worth it. Like, because as you saw the other night, it just created this incredible movie.
Well, I would say I hope you get an easier job someday, but I think you're a good leading man and you can carry any show or movie. So
thank you so much.
We'll keep you on screen 90% of the time if that's what you're ready for.
Great. I'm up
Um,
for it.
Tell me more about the other night, your big Hollywood premiere. It was so exciting to be there with the red carpet at the El
Yeah.
Capitan Theater right in Hollywood. For me, it was like Nate, I grew up, I actually grew up watching E! News, which I think still exists. That was my sort of connection to entertainment because I've always loved like behind the scenes of entertainment, which is why that's what
Yeah.
we do here at Broadway Plus. So for me, it was so exciting to be at my first Hollywood premiere, but I want to hear what the entire day and the entire experience was like for you,
Yeah.
especially with that very glamorous, awesome look that you had that I want to hear all
Thank
about.
you. Yeah. So it was also my first red carpet premiere or anything like that. And it was definitely an experience. It was wild because like you walk onto the red carpet and like everything's happening at the same time and you're walking through like all these famous people are walking by you on this side and then you have all the cameras and reporters on the other side and you're going up and down back and forth to different reporters to do interviews and then you finally go into the theater and you watch the movie and it's just like very it's just very exciting and
Total
glamorous.
overload is how I
Yes,
felt. Yeah.
it is. It's
And no
definitely
one cared that I was there. So I can only imagine how exciting it was for you.
oh my goodness. Yeah, it was incredible. So in the morning I did 3 hours of Zoom school. And because apparently I'm still working even though I'm on a red carpet. So then the my fabulous nail artist came to my room and I'm still wearing them. I got my nails done and
Gorgeous.
thank you. And then hair and makeup and my incredible stylist came and we got me into my outfit and we got me into my full face and hair. And then I got into a car and they had to drive me around the block 2 times because we were a little early. But then when we finally pulled up and I stepped out onto the carpet, it felt like, whoa, I've made it. And it was just truly magical. And I'm very excited for Monday, which is Monday the 21st is the New York City premiere. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're going to be there with 20 Broadway actors that we work with here on Broadway
Nice.
Plus, some of whom were in the film, including Christina.
Yes,
Um,
she's so great. I love her.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, and you mentioned that to me a little earlier that that was the first time you saw the movie was at the premiere in its full, complete
Yeah.
cut. Is
Yeah,
that right?
it is. It was the first time that I saw the finished product and
Yeah.
it's really incredible the way they put everything together and everybody's like performance. It's just so like down to earth and real because when you watch the trailer, it's like very unassuming. It kind of looks like any other Disney movie, but when you watch it, it's just so much more. And it was me and Aria Aria was sitting like in the row right in front of me, and then Lisa Kudrow was sitting right behind me, which is still mind blowing. Like I'm never gonna get over the fact that I know Lisa Kudrow. But so me and Aria were sitting like she was sitting right in front of me, and we kept like turning around to each other and just going like we were screaming the whole time. It was great.
I agree. I thought the movie captured so beautifully what it's like to be young and to be dreaming and to feel like Broadway's so far away and unattainable. And then it
Yeah,
also was just like had so many magical moments and so many surprises and
I
so
agree.
many moments where it captured what it is like then to be watching a show or on stage or just it captured the energy of
Yeah,
Times Square and the theater district. That was something I really loved about it.
yeah.
Who do you think will enjoy the movie most? Who is it, who's it made for, and who are you performing for when you made this movie?
Well, I think anyone who watches it is going to find some aspect enjoyable, because there are going to be adults who love it because there's some like more mature humor, like some jokes that like not all the kids will get, and then like the young, really young kids will love it because it's so fun, and there's lots of dancing and singing and Broadway, and then theater kids will love it, and like anyone who watches this movie will find something good in it.
I'm going to ask you a few of our favorite Broadway Plus questions that we usually
Yes.
are asking stage actors. For example, someone who's played Elphaba or someone who's played Alexander Hamilton. I'm going to ask you a few of those.
Yes, please
but,
do.
but this time it's for you and Nate. My first question is, what are your Broadway dream roles?
Oh my gosh. So if they ever bring Little Shop of Horrors back to Broadway, I would love to be Seymour because that's one of my favorite musicals.
Great answer.
And I'd love to be in Wicked as well. But really, just any stage production would be amazing. But I love Little Shop of Horrors.
Well, we will look forward to your Broadway debut someday.
Yes.
I'm also curious, what are the biggest differences between Nate and Ruby?
There's not a lot actually because we're so similar. He's from a small town. I'm from a small town. We both love Broadway. We both got to follow our dreams, and it's one of the main differences is like I was really really lucky to be able to grow up and have an amazing support group, which not a lot of kids have, but I was really lucky to just grow up and be able to just be myself whenever and wherever I wanted. And Nate kind of struggles with that sometimes in school and in his family, and it was really cool to be able to like portray that journey of somebody who doesn't know who he is and being able to find that. So that was really amazing. But even down to when I auditioned for the movie, I auditioned with a song from Wicked, and little did I know, because I didn't know a lot about the story before I auditioned, but little did I know that Wicked is one of Nate's favorite musicals. And I wore there's actually a green shirt that I wear in the movie that's based on my wardrobe, because there were a couple things that I wore to auditions that Tim Federle was like, "Hey, I like that. Can you wear that again so we can, take pictures of it and then get a version for his costumes?" So there's a green shirt with a collar that I wear in the movie that I own.
I love that. I remember when Tim was introducing you at the premiere, he mentioned that you were the only kids who auditioned with Defying Gravity, or at least the best the best one to audition with Defying Gravity, I think it's safe to say. Well, that's really neat that, as like many performers, you had a great support system and people who were helping you reach the heights you've already achieved.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you are hoping to share with our Broadway Plus fans here, or the Broadway community, that you'd like them to know about the film or about you as a growing performer?
Well, I just think that everybody who loves Broadway needs to watch this movie because it's got everything and it's so good, and it's just a love letter to Broadway, and it's just really inspiring to anyone out there who feels like they don't have a spot in the world. And I hope that anybody who's out there who thinks that they don't fit in, then I hope that that there's somebody somewhere who loves you for who you are and will support you no matter what. And I think at the core of this movie, that's what it's all about: finding your light and finding who you are.
I couldn't agree more. I absolutely love the movie. I love your performance in it. It's really a performance that people are going to be talking about, and it's going to be inspiring for people and making them feel like there is a community and a place that they belong for years to come. And I really congratulate you and thank you for how hard you must have worked on that to tell that story.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It was so fun.
You're so welcome. Where can we find you on social media and anywhere else we might be able to follow you?
My Instagram is Rueby Wood, and Ruby is spelled Rueby. And my TikTok is also Rueby Wood. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Perfect. Well, as most of our listeners know, we're at Broadway Plus on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're listening on Spotify, you can find more exclusive clips on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. Thank you so much, Ruby. Thanks to the team at Disney for engaging Broadway Plus to help spread the great word about Better Nate Than Ever. And we can't wait for you to see this awesome movie on Disney Plus soon.
Yeah, go watch it.
Have a great day.
You too.